Good evening, and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the thing show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find their way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. And I really want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. This past weekend, we had the brother from Canada on. And, basically what I wanted to show, the information that he gave was off the hook. And it's something that we should all look at. But what I wanted to show is that when we say Americans, American is this hemisphere of the planet. NASA 7665. How do you say that? Because I want to say that name that everybody says, but it's not spelled that way. So can you spell it out in pronunciation form so I can pronunciate it right? But anyway, the reason I had the brother on from Canada because I wanted to show you remember it's just a border, an imaginary line. It's nothing real. It's connected. And all these borders and counties and lines, they just broke down your land the way they broke you up. And I wanted to show that. I mean, because it should be simple to get, but if you don't get it, okay, maybe you'll get to try again. Awanasa, Awinasa. Yep, that's cool. See, I like that. See, that's why female teachers are better. They make you understand it on the first or second go. So the United States and Canada, that's one land. It's nothing different. I mean, on paper it is, but remember, everything they do on paper to trick you, as long as they can get you to follow instructions, which the black man and the African American man does without fail, they'll have you. So we went, we talked to the brother from Canada. Now what we're about to do this week is go to the Caribbean. So I'm heading out for the Caribbean tomorrow because I want to show something. Because every time I tell people, what I tell them about it, oh nigga, you just making shit up. Canada, Alaska, these are the names they're called now. Canada, Alaska, North America, Central America, Mexico, the Caribbean, and all those islands up there and up and down the East Coast and South America is one landmass. See, when I was a kid, they was teaching us it was 7 continents. It's not. This is one big old continent. And they tried to cut through it with that Panama Canal fiasco. More on that later. But we're about to head down to the Caribbean to show you that all those islands down there, at one point in time, they used to be one landmass. There was a cataclysmic event here. Now, and this is kind of what pisses me off because we don't know, and we should, because you're directly connected to this land. Those people who call themselves Hebrew Israelite Hoteps, this isn't for you. You're connected to this land through your mothers. That's why every now and then they try to get the black man to down the so-called black woman because it keeps you from rising. And that what Negroes normally do is do what they're told. You all have mothers. What are you doing? But the women keep multiplying with them, so I guess I have nothing to say. So this whole and this is what is meant by this is another definition of black. Can plants grow in the black? They need energy. They need energy. So if you're looking at yourself as black, you're looking at yourself as nothing. I know you want to try to fight it and say it's not true, but please come up and explain it. Explain why you call yourself nothing. You'll have a chance to speak. Don't do one of them long ass speeches. Just make your point. And me and the group let you know right off the bat. Because if you're here listening, you're not listening to no bullshit. We just always focus on the wrong shit. Always focus on everybody else, but not focusing on yourself. Your whole purpose in life is to work on yourself. Make sure you're the best that you can be. That's why they call you black. That's why they have you calling yourself black. Because whenever you see black, and then we're going to take it to paper, we'll take it to nature after paper later on as we go. But on paper, black is nothing. Is used to hide things. That's what you're saying when you call yourself that. You're redacting yourself. Now, it's one thing when somebody else do it, but when you do it and arrogant about it. So, so we got the Canada and the United States, same landmass, same people. The brother who was on looked like a brother you see walk down the street every day in any city. Same people. And it's a reason that they do that. Cut up the place. Because in your mind it'll be cut up too. And they do it in a way, when you hear this, you're going to be like, God damn, I never thought of that. The reason they have to make you less than you are is so they can dominate you. Example, this is something easy everybody should get. So when you talk to people, let's say the people in your family who was born in, let's say 1850. Some of you could have met them, may have met them. Some of you may have not. But you have other aunts, uncles, ancestors to tell you about them. And this is in everybody that I've spoken to, which is like well over 5,000 people. They all say the same thing. All their relatives lived on farms or had massive acres of land. The reason, and this is natural. This isn't something you just stop because somebody tell you to. This is it was like breathing. Somebody tell you not to breathe. The African American Negro, they'll hold their breath because that's how they're trained. Anybody who can't see that, come on up and I'll explain it to you. And when we get off, you will understand it. Because they got us always thinking about the wrong shit. Always. You got people in California right now putting cotton on their roofs to pretend it's snow, and you live in a desert. That's how the black man thinks. That's how African Americans think. But check this out. Everybody I've spoken to, and I mean everybody, all say that their people came from a place. You probably hear about the places. They're big patches of land. And the women I talked to, they say they didn't call, the people back then didn't refer to the children as kids. They called them hands. So this is something the so-called Black Indian movement, they don't talk about this, but they won't tell you about it. And they won't tell you about it because they're black. They don't look at themselves as anything. They call the children hands. My question was, why did you do that? because two hands are better than one person. That was the thinking of your ancestors. You think today these people think of themselves like that? No. And with a few hands, you can do everything. That's the way they looked at themselves. They didn't call themselves black. They called themselves what they were. That way, the Chitamacha did this, the Accomack did that. That was a long time ago. We'll talk about it later when you get a chance. But so when you talk to your ancestors, they'll tell you they came from huge tracts of land. So in rounding you up, they took you off the land and put you in something called yards. Just still the land, but it's in a smaller space. Why? To shrink your mind. They put you in little cubby holes called apartments and projects, cutting you off from the land. You have no connection to it. Concrete, the streets. Even so much today, the Negro tells you how bad he is in the streets. And all he's doing is mimicking other people that taught him that. So they put you in yards, then go to apartments with a whole bunch of people. Back then, you used to be spread out. You used to be you had time, your mind could go as far as the land would take you, as far as you could see. Now all you can look into your neighbor's front door. That's cutting you from the land. This is not taught to the children today, and it should, because if it's not, they'll be in a situation way worse than you. Way worse than you. So we like to communicate because I want you to let me know if I'm telling you some bullshit because I'll stop. I'm just telling you how it is, not how I wish it was or none of that. Telling you how it is. Now, a lot of people get upset because they do the same shenanigans. So, a young lady came up to me today. Young lady came up to me and she was asking me, we're going to get back to what we were talking about in 1 second, but this is kind of important too. About this guy, famous guy, his kid killed him and his mom. I forget the cat's name, but he was on the TV shows way back in the day. His son killed him and his mom. Now this is Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner. This is one of the guys. If you got grandmothers and grandfathers, ask him. He was all on TV when a TV show called All in the Family was out. A lot of you, that show's way gone when by the time you landed on the planet. I mean, and he'd been in Hollywood from that day forward. Rob Reiner's sons. That's right, Rob Reiner's son. His son popped him and his wife. So my sister asked me, why do you think a kid who silver spoon in his mouth, he had everything and he was told he can do everything to people. Why would he turn on his parents like that? Why would he turn on his parents like that? Hmm? Did he find out his parents wasn't telling them the truth about life, period? Just lived in that white fantasy, which a lot of Negroes try to live? Son, did the son see that they were demons? Come on, this is Hollywood. This is Hollywood. Was his son affected by that? A lot of people in Hollywood turn their boys into girls and vice versa. What went on? We'll never know. Don't care, but that's what I say. Be yourself. So the purpose of this Caribbean trip is to show, because this is a sister from LA. She wanted to see because she can't see it. And she's a 60-year-old. She know, I mean, Christian, she knows a little. So I want to show her. You got to see this. Show her how all those islands down there are connected. They're connected. Those islands are connected to Florida. Look beneath the surface of things. And Black people and African Americans are 99.9% surface. They never pull back the veils. They never question anything. They just do what they're told, right or wrong. You cannot send these kids down that same pathway. You cannot teach these kids that dumb shit that you were taught and you believe wholeheartedly. And none of it has made no sense since you've been here. So there was a cataclysmic event here. So what got her attention was, I told her, the next time that you're in Phoenix, wherever you are in the city, stop, drop, look up to the sky, and do a 360-degree turn. What do you see? She goes, mountains. I said, try again. She said it was all over the city. I'm like, right, but why? Why? I told her, I said, it's a crater. You're in a crater. And she was like, damn, that is that. Right. Cataclysmic events have happened here. All of Southern California is a desert. Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, half of Texas is a desert. You better know why that is. Instead, nobody never, huh? You better know that. So you just think when they was performing war on you, they just rounded you up and told you to work like a slave? There was a war against you. The brother told you 7 nations attacked you. And there are people with the people who took the Bhagavad Gita, how they talk about their wars, what they did. Pay attention. This is why this land is called America. What you called it. What you are. See, that's what happens with the African American and Black. They only look at what things look like. They don't look at what things are, what it look like. What color is it? That's just, that's not no depth. None. It could be the finest woman in the world. If she looks at herself as Black, she just, ugh. This is stuff we don't teach our children, and we should. And I'm not saying it's every single one, because it's not. You got some people teaching their kids to damn near fly. So I'm gonna show this lady that those islands in the Caribbean are connected. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna tape it, bring it back, and share it with you. Because I just don't want to. Because one of the things I know about African American and Black people, and the reason I say African American and Black people, because all my family, friends, and blah blah blah, that's what they call themselves, and that's why we don't have close relations, and it's all good for real. What are you? Not what you look like. Not how long you can paint on some fingernails. Not what baseball cap you wear. Not what barber you go to. Who are you? And it seems like we like to cover up with all that other stuff. And when you try to find out who or what a person is, they don't. They probably know what they won't tell you because it's pretty shitty calling yourself a demon because that's what your actions act like. That's what you do. Not what you look like, it's what you do. And with African American and Black referring to themselves being that, shit tells you right there they're trying to cover up what they do. They try to cover up what they do. So when you hear a brother was talking about Malcolm X today, what to kill Malcolm X for? Because he saw it. He saw it. He realized. He realized he was in an shitty organization. He realized it. You're telling people lies, but when somebody comes tell the truth, you kill them. What kind of demon are you? Fard Muhammad ran heroin from Pakistan. Guess who ran it for him? We don't want to talk. Not you. Yeah. All these cults and stuff, they're not you. They're cults from other places coming over to subdue you. Guess what you do? Just like when you ask the black man, hey, when slavery was going on, when slavery was going on, they had a few wars. Explain to me why so-called black men would go fight in anybody's war, why his people are enslaved. This is what I asked the whatever they call Pan-Africans, Hoteps, Hebrew, whatever you know what they call themselves. This is what I asked them because I want to get, dude. You can't be teaching your kids this stuff, dude. Explain to me if your people were suffering in slavery, getting buck broken, if that was your people, why were you in wars fighting for other people? Explain that. None of them have explained nothing. And I put the link to the chat in. If you can explain it, please. I want to know. They can tell you anything, and they normally do. And you know what you do? Whatever they say, do. Right or wrong. Right or wrong. So, just the reason for tonight's program is don't focus on the wrong shit no more. Focus on you. Focus on who you are. Focus what your people did. Who were they? Where did they live? What where they lived? What was it called? The names are still written. Your folks wrote it in the stone. But you will call yourself what somebody else calls you. Not talking about you. I'm talking about the African American, Black, Hebrew, Israelite, Moor, little whatever they call themselves. You'll always notice it's not a name that their ancestors called them. It was a name that somebody told them they were. You can get the how these guys speak. They like to speak like they have some sense. Well, the perpendicular line of the they all that bullshit. When you ask him a question, check out how they look at you because they lying because they know this language that we speak. That's why we change it up so much. It says one word can mean eight, nine, 10 things. And you'll always find yourself in a contradictory mindset when you use it. So they try to just make it sound, words that we, the masses, weren't taught. They try to use these big words to talk to confuse you. Kind of talking about how Umar Johnson talked dumb as hell. And just because he talked a certain way, everybody fell in love with the way he talked and didn't listen to a word he said. When he told you Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, two diametrically opposing views. Why would you make a school sending our sons there when you know they already have a disadvantage in the regular school system? You're going to open up something to make it worse just by what you're calling it. Marcus Garvey is one of the guys to get you off the land so he can come take over. And many black people still worship to this day, right or wrong. So check out the Caribbean. Check out these islands. What's under these islands? These islands are connected. And many of you have heard, the stories of down there, the people down there. These are people that fish with no fishing pole. They fish with their hands. I'll bring it back. I'll show you. Those are your people too. That's not a different country. Jamaica's not a different country. It's connected to Florida. You can't see Florida is damn near a sponge. You can't see the Florida Key. You don't get that. It's all one place. It's one place. A war was committed upon you. You don't know about it because you don't know nothing. You only know what they tell you. I'm not saying this is this audience. I'm talking about the majority of people. And you know how they taught us. And no, I don't mean everybody. Some people, I'm a dummy compared to what we have out here. You got some brothers and sisters out here, bad. And so how bad they are, check it out because your kid's gonna be brilliant. Because these people out here teaching your children now, yeah, and you'll notice it's always been this little, a cadre of people learning stuff. You had a cat named Bobby Hemmett. This was back in the 90s. Just a regular brother. uh, To me, could have been a comedian in another life. Funny, but all he did and all he taught, really, in my point of view, you can ask other people who, heard of him or know him. But the only thing Bobby Hemmett taught everybody was to read. Read. So you can understand what these people are saying. Just read. If the average Christian read the first page of the Bible, they wouldn't be a Christian by the time they got to page 2. $100. Anybody. $100. Don't read. And then when they do read it, I, how, you don't read. That way, anybody can tell you anything and you'll do it. So, we're going to go down to the Caribbean, show you how all these islands are. You can do it and look on the map yourself and do it. You can do it. All you gotta do is think about it. You got islands all up and down the East Coast. Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. There's islands out there, and they all go down to Bimini and Bahamas. They launched an attack on your folks, cuz, and you don't know about it. They used to call you, if you go and remember that saying, all skin folk ain't kin folk. You remember that? That's real. As they were warring with you, they were calling you foes. Navajo, their name for you is ancient foe. Your children got to know this. You got to know this. But Manny, you don't tell me what to do. I can do what I want to do. You ain't my daddy. That's when you take a person from their natural habitat and put them in a cage. That's when you take a person who was originally on the land, build cages for them with the material on their land, and they don't say a fucking word. Just saying that you live in Waco County or Missouri County or Jefferson County, just saying that you live in that little dot cuts you off from the rest of the land. The people in the next county you don't call your people. They're not people that you trade with. Let me say, let me take that county back. Territory. People lived in certain places. There wasn't no borders. Hey, we gonna do the fishing. You make sure we have the staples for the fish. That's how they traded with each other. Rivers. When you're doing your genealogy, you should pick that up. Oh, what rivers did your people live near? You learn a lot more about them. My grandma was she, where did she live? What did they do? How did they make America what it is? So much that everybody who got sniffing close to close to sniffing it wanted it. That's what your ancestors did. That's what people here on the thumbnail, that's them. But most say it's not. So it's not. For them, it's not. Call them what they say they are. If they are African American, ask them to explain how boats come across the Atlantic Ocean during hurricane season. They won't know. They'll get mad because they don't know. They were just told something and they believed it. That's most everything everybody knows. People bring their holidays, their rituals to make the indigenous people submit. Don't even know what their own rituals are. And will keep talking. So Canada, Alaska, North America, Mexico, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, you notice that it reaches from North Pole to South Pole. You realize that, right? Where else in the world does it do that? And what kind of energy you think puts out that type of topography does? You connectly plugged in. You get energy from the North and South Pole. Positive and negative on the battery. We ever think of that? No. You, this is your land, not some little apartment on 112th Street. What else? What other resources on this planet, on this earth, on this side of the earth that you're not getting because foreigners are coming and taking them away and keeping you locked in a cage? Let's hear it. See the world, guys. See the world. Not just places where they're telling you to go. Just find some place. Don't go to Africa. Go to Peru. Go to Brazil. You don't think some of your ancestors are down there? You don't think some of your ancestors are in the Caribbean, Canada? You don't think that? Central America? We'll see you guys in a couple of days. Peace.